Again, welcome everybody. It's good to see everybody on has been taking part of this program that we've been running for 2 years. And I think just to start off, I will give you a little backdrop on the speed of change, which is really what innovation is all about and why we are working on these issues. So, I'd like to start off by a quote from the CEO of Hublot, the Swiss watchmaker, and he said that innovation is what keeps us going forward. And if we keep repeating what we did yesterday, we'll end up in a museum. We don't want that, right? Even if it's a modern museum, like this one. So, if we take a look at innovation before and now, we see that we have moved from the Industrial Revolution and up through different types of innovation. And innovation changes when new technologies and infrastructures come into play. So we had the assembly line, we had the process optimization, lean, and we had in the 1990s and 2000 going forward, we have been looking more at business model innovation. Take, for instance, Dell and how they turned upside down the logics of producing and bringing computers to the market with just-in-time inventories. Today we are in a networked global economy and everything is moving faster and faster. We are moving into more customers-oriented innovation. The customers are becoming more important and have a voice that we can use. And we are able today to utilize partnership from all over the globe. Just to perspective, it took about 400 years for the printing press to reach a mass audience. It took 7 years for the cell phone to reach a mass audience. And about 2 years for Facebook to reach 1 billion users. So things are speeding up, and it also has implications for how long you can have competitive advantages. You really need to stay on the edge. So, the networked economy. It's social, and we're moving into the clouds. We can now source from anywhere in the world. We have a lot of companies recognizing this. Take Procter & Gamble and IBM and others, realizing, of course, that the world brain is much larger than the brain inside the organization or your company. So they actually go out and open up to the world and say, these are our challenges. Who can solve it for us? They have IBM, Idea Jam, etc. They're really going open innovation, taking it seriously. Amazon.com, they have really realized that they don't have to sit and write book reviews or have employees doing that. They can have the customers do that. And they've invented this system of reputational currency, where it's prestigious to write a good book review and get 5-star reviews from other readers. So actually Amazon is the one owning all the Harry Potter fans are writing about their experiences when reading Harry Potter books on Amazon.com, not on harrypotter.com. Cisco is outsourcing their customer services to letting customers serve other customers instead of having huge call centers. McDonald's is letting the mass audience design their future burgers. So there are possibilities here to really tap into and use customers. And nowadays everyone has the tools to really start a movement. Take, for instance, Martha Payne. She's a 9-year-old. I don't know if many of you have heard of her, but she's worth hearing about from Scotland. And she was writing a blog about school food. And she had some readers. She was quite popular in her school, etc. And then one day she was quite critical to the school food, whereby she was called into the principal's office on the day after, and she said, "No, you can't do this. You know, you need to stop writing negatively about the school food." And so she, wrote on her blog, "Sorry guys, I have to stop my blog because I'm not allowed to anymore." And of course this caused a mass reaction. And the day after, BBC was on the 7 o'clock news saying who's to shut up a 9-year-old. And the principal of the school had to make a 180-degree turnaround. And now she has more readers than ever. And she's actually raised £100,000 for feeding children in Africa, 9 years old. So the landscape is changing, and the question is, how do you play with this landscape in your company? Okay, so that's the world today. What will the world look like tomorrow? Let's have a look on something we see on the horizon. I'm going to show a short video on something which is happening or beginning to happen now. What happened here? I thought. Wait. Sorry guys, I'm just going to skip the commercial part here. I'm moving to about here, and then we go again. Okay, I think you get the idea. This is 3D printing. Back in the day, you used to buy a book or a CD, and now it's Christmas time, you used to ship it in the mail to somebody. Now you can send it as an email attachment. Very soon you'll be able to send somebody a violin or a guitar as an email attachment, if they have a 3D printer, of course, and they can print it at home. But think about, what will this do to manufacturing? What will it do to where we produce goods in the world? Will it still be Asia? You know, could we do it differently? Could it be taken home to the West? And I mean, there are multiple implications here on what this may do to revolutionize the balance of competition. So this is one example of the future, which is quite close. Another one is that we will see gene replacement therapy taking off pretty soon, according to Ray Kurzweil, and then we can expect life expectancy of about 150 years. Actually, they think that the babies born today may reach this age. So what does that imply for human population and elderly population? And lots of good things can be done, and maybe for service providers like ISS, I don't know, maybe you get more customers and other things. We'll hear more about ISS later on today and others. But anyway, these are some samples. We know that the world will be radically different from what it is today. So the question is, do you see what's coming around the next curve in your industry? Because the problem is that it's quite easy to get a tunnel vision. We do what we do every day, and the better we are at doing it, the harder it is to see what else is coming. And maybe we define ourselves as being a train, but maybe if we didn't put limits on ourselves, we could have a broader perspective on what we could do. So that's also a good question to ask yourself. If you were not doing what you do today, what could you be doing with your knowledge in your company and with your partners? Disruption happens. We know that. We've seen that in the past. You all know these examples. And it will happen again, as we've seen with 3D printing and other technologies. Some really get it right. They deliver something that has substantial customer value. Today, I write in parentheses. Maybe not tomorrow. We don't know how that will play out. But all of these have really delivered value to customers in the marketplace. Take a great Nordic example, Angry Birds. Surprising fact, they have more users than Facebook. They have really used what we are working on in this program, going from just having an offering, a mobile game, to moving through to platform and building, different merchandise products, etc., going to channels, teaming up with new partners, which in result makes it a comic worldwide phenomena, where you can buy gadgets and beverages and T-shirts and Starbucks mugs with Angry Birds. And to a reflection when we talk about gaming, think about how many people play games, and that Wikipedia took 100 million hours to build, and that would be equivalent of 3 weeks of Angry Bird play. So if we get some of these guys sitting and playing to do something useful, we can make a lot of innovation. Anyway, so how are you going to make a difference? Are you the first mover? Will you do it better than the rest in your industry? Or how are you different? A lot of companies tend to compete on the same dimensions, on the same aspects, and what they end up is competing on price and margins. We see that my colleague will go into the reason and rationale for working more on business model innovation later on. But this was the basis for why we introduced this framework to Nordic companies. It's basically, after looking for different tools, we ended up with Innovation Radar, which provides a 360-degree perspective. It's really looking at how you can generate new value for your customers and your firm by working systematically with innovation in 4 different macro areas. Offering-related innovation, meaning new products, platforms, or solutions. Customer-oriented innovation, exploring new customer groups or new customer needs, unmet customer needs. Innovating on the customer experience, being more innovative in the way you communicate with your customers. And then you have in operations, the way you organize your business, the way you take payment for your services, the processes to bring products and services to market. And finally, in partnership, you can look at how you source and have your supply chain, how you can optimize that better, be innovative in the channel where you bring your products and services to market, and in your ecosystem. Do you need to do it all alone, or can you team up and do it with others? So this is the Innovation Radar framework that most of you are quite familiar with. And this is what we have been measuring. Where are Nordic companies playing within these 12 dimensions? And with that, I would like to introduce my good colleague, Bjørne Bang-Andersen, who's been running this program together with me, and he will talk a bit more about business model innovation and how it works. So thank you.